What's up, folks? Today I bring you a game that is built around the idea of a very popular TV series, but unlike the show, the game doesn't get boring over time. In fact, it's addicting. Yes, this is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, a game dedicated to stylish killings and surviving. This is a deep game, so be prepared for some hefty sections. Now, if you would prefer an audio version only, the links will be in the description. And if you like this video, why not go ahead and subscribe? Is Saints and Sinners worth $40? Well, I'm about to tell you. My name is Tanner, and this is For Your Money, a different kind of review. The game sees you in the shoes of the tourist. Tourist is that of a legend, seemingly unstoppable. You come across an old man named Henri, who tells you about a place called the Reserves, a place so littered with loot that you might actually have a fighting chance to make it out of this outbreak alive and on top. As far as how you get there and what you do, well, that's entirely up to you. This game is set on giving players the ability and choosing how pretty much every situation will go down, hinting at the game's title, Saints and Sinners. That's the ultimate choice. Will you do good by your own morals and help those in need, or will you see that you come out as the top dog and everyone else is just an obstacle? Now, the way the story works in this game is neat. You're living in an apocalypse with a goal in mind, but how you achieve it is up to you, and seeing how this game is VR, the sense of living it is practically there. So maybe you're annoyed by some characters or just don't feel like you have the time for their shit, so you kill them. That's how this game works. The tourist is a vessel and you make them however you appeal to the game's world. Gameplay is a hell of a thing in this game. First and foremost, this game is survival, in my opinion. You have a health bar and a stamina bar. Stamina depends on how much you eat and drink. If you don't eat or drink to maintain that stamina, it will cap off and you won't have the full capability. And trust me, you don't want that to happen, or you'll be walking around most of this game's 15 hours. Now, ironically enough, health is taken down by eating. When you eat something that isn't meal-worthy, it will diminish your health, as well as obviously getting bitten by a zombie. To heal, you use bandages, but that's only healing the part of the bar that isn't in red. In order to get your full health bar back, you need to take medicine. And honestly, that shit is scarce, but you will come across a radio station at some point in the game that will help you scavenge all kinds of supplies. Supplies being anything from food and medication to recyclables. You recycle items so you can gain the parts that they're made of in order to craft different necessities such as weapons, armor, ammo, as well as health and stamina items. Crafting in this game is simple. At first, there isn't a lot of items to craft. You have to upgrade the workbenches, which is the same way as crafting. You recycle items and use the spare parts to upgrade the benches. Now, you can get some really cool shit by upgrading, such as explosives or Negan's bat. I mean, there's tons. If you're going to make it in the world of Saints and Sinners, then upgrading those benches are essential. Now, for combat, this game is very melee heavy. You can honestly turn most items found on the ground into a weapon. And what's interesting is the way they handled killing in this game. And one of my best examples is you can grab a zombie with one hand, or grab two zombies in each hand, because fuck it. The tourist ain't scared, but when you grab one, you use the other hand to stab it in the head or shoot it. If you stab the zombie, sometimes whatever item you use doesn't go through the skull, so you have to push it further in to kill him. To me, that was a gruesome detail that I ended up loving, but you will get the hang of it and eventually you'll be able to kill him with one stab. One thing to keep in mind is all weapons have conditions. A spoon allows for one kill, whereas the hatchet or the bat allow for several. Guns also have this condition meter, but luckily when a weapon is deemed useless, it breaks into a spare part you can recycle, so it's not a complete burden when you have to dispose of a firearm. One of my favorite things you can do in this game is dual wield tons of items. Guns, broken bottles, shivs, etc. I love dual wielding shivs and broken bottles. Something about it just gave me that John Wick vibe of badassery when I kill 3 or 4 then throw the item in their face. This game is all about those moments, but of course this is The Walking Dead, so stress is going to play a part too. There will be a bell that tolls on each map. You have a watch that tells you when it will happen, but once it does, there will be a horde of zombies. My advice would be to get past the herd because it will take all of your equipment to take them all out. But I mean, if you want to kill each and every one of them, by all means, go for it. Just be wary of that stamina because if your character is out of breath, doesn't mean the 10 zombies headed your way are. Another factor to keep in mind is this game goes off of days survived. Now when you die, it isn't game over, but you do lose your backpack and you have to get it back before you die again or else your loot is lost forever. However, with more days survived, that does mean loot is more scarce and zombies are more abundant. You travel in this game via a boat to sections of New Orleans. You only visit one place per day. This is where some of this game's length comes from, because maybe you want supplies and they're in a different area than your mission, meaning you're going to have to spend one whole day getting the loot and another day doing the mission. With that said, loot discovered by the radio station, as I mentioned, is only at that destination for about 3 days, so those are time sensitive. That should be your top priority. The gameplay of Saints and Sinners is hefty. They thought of every little detail and just had to include everything. I'm going to mention a few more things about gameplay in the immersion section of the game, but next is design. Saints and Sinners' design is more than superb. They took their time with the overall quality of this game. I had zero complaints for sound design. Voice acting was up to par in every possible way. The quality of the voices and the accents were phenomenal, but what got my attention is just how some of the dialogue, most of the time, it felt as if the characters weren't even reading off of a script, but as if it just came naturally. It truly made for an immersive VR experience. The zombies' bones were pretty bone-chilling, especially since they can be anywhere, so you don't know where to expect one. There is a tone that plays when you've been spotted by one, but that doesn't indicate anything other than you're about to be attacked. As for graphics, they look great. It isn't a Half-Life Alyx, but that game was a special case of good looking. One of my pros of this game is a lot of other games focus on the foreground and forget that a background set piece is always nice to have, but they didn't do that here. Everything comes together once again, bringing that VR immersion. As for character and monster design, it was chilling to have a zombie come out of nowhere and grab you, and now their flabby, blood-filled jaws are in your face. Their design is impressive. Not only do they fit that of what you'd expect of a zombie, but you can also feel how lifeless they are. As for the humans, I had a few moments where I just had to get out of my play zone so I could look in awe. The people looked great. You can tell they were struggling to stay alive and sane during the Hendrix outbreak. Now here's a few clips of the overall design.
You? They don't know you. You'll be able to stroll right in. After that, whatever you need to do, that's your business. Personally, I'd put a few bullets through their skulls. Let the dirt reclaim them. Fuck with me and I'll brain you!
I'm ready now.
Finally!
Are you there?
Yeah, glad to hear your voice. Ready to get started?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, good. So, I found the manual for the pump flow regulator. It looks like we need to calibrate it before it can be installed. Each of the pumps has different flow requirements.
Know where that came from. As long as nothing happens to me. Understood? Get yourself to the trade tower. I will unlock the gate so you can reach the area. Stay out in the open. If I am satisfied you are alone, you will see me.
Immersion was probably their top goal in mind when making this game. Everything from sounds to world building, as well as helping us understand storage scarcity. You have a backpack that stores your junk and some weapons you aren't using. You have one holster on each hip for small weapons, as well as you can store more space-consuming weapons on your right shoulder. You won't reach to the left side of your back to get your more space-consuming weapon. You'll have to reach to the right side of your back. It was details like that made me forget I was in a game. As for the options and controls, this game defaults with blinders and snap turning. The options are decent, allowing you to choose smooth turning if you'd like. They also have a slider for motion sickness. You also have 3 moving options: head, controller, and hybrid. Now I switch between head and hybrid constantly, not because I couldn't decide which one I liked best, but some moments I wanted to move where I was looking and other moments I didn't. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is a VR game and a half. It was loaded with content. Now some might think that 15 hours is short, but I disagree to the fullest, even more so when we're talking about VR. 15 hours is quite a bit of gameplay. This game sells for $40 and it's worth the full retail of $40. I experienced 0 bugs but tons of memorable moments. It was a phenomenal gaming experience, as all should be. This is a 4-course meal of a game. A VR game that all VR enthusiasts should play and own. That's all I got, folks. If you enjoyed it, why not subscribe? If you didn't, then hit that thumbs down. Till next time, fellas.